Welcome to Cocytus, a frozen underworld where traitors are punished. All sorts of demons and devils have made their home here, including yours truly. It wasn't long after I arrived here that I ran into an interesting little guy. He didn't hang around for long after discovering that I wasn't about to be his next lunch, but I get the feeling that that wasn't the last time I'll be seeing him. Good news is, though, that encounter did give me an idea for our next custom team franchise mode. Hello Simmers, we're back with some more franchise mode in FHM 11, and in this one we are going to be using the Cocytus River Rats. That's right, my VTuber branding team that I have decided on. Now you might be wondering how I'm going to do this when I'm blocking up most of the screen. Well, I can just simply put myself in the corner like this, and that should be good enough in most cases, but if I am ever blocking something, I can always just move myself off screen like that. There shouldn't be any need to worry about that as long as I actually remember to do it. This is my second time recording this. And so something different that we're going to be doing in this franchise mode is that this is going to be a draft to glory franchise mode, meaning that the only way we can acquire players is by taking them in the NHL entry draft. Of course, there is going to be an expansion draft right out of the gate. However, I've decided, as a last minute challenge, I literally decided this like 10 minutes ago, that we are going to not participate in the expansion draft as a human, meaning the AI is going to take over for us and decide our team in the expansion draft. So that could be a disaster. That could be pretty bad or good, depending on how you look at it. But, you know, we are in the hands of the AI to start out. And then something else that's different about this is that since Cocytus is nowhere on Earth anyway, I figured I may as well make some fantasy divisions. We are divided up into 3 divisions of 11 teams each. So there's obviously 33 teams in the league. And you have the Beings division, the Earth division, and the Conflict division. So the Beings division, as I move out of the way here, will be your Cocytus River Rats, the Florida Panthers, the Nashville Predators, the Utah Mammoth, the Seattle Kraken, Anaheim Ducks, Boston Bruins, San Jose Sharks, Pittsburgh Penguins, New Jersey Devils, and the Vancouver Canucks. In the Earth division, you have the New York Islanders, the Minnesota Wild, the Carolina Hurricanes, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Colorado Avalanche, the Calgary Flames, the Montreal Canadiens, the St. Louis Blues, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Philadelphia Flyers, and the Dallas Stars. And the Conflict division, you have the Edmonton Oilers, the Vegas Golden Knights, the Ottawa Senators, the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Winnipeg Jets, the Washington Capitals, the Chicago Blackhawks, the Buffalo Sabres, the Detroit Red Wings, the LA Kings, and the New York Rangers. So you're seeing the theme there of what's happening with these divisions. But I think with all that being said, we can get right into it as we have our staff in place. We have our head coach, who is Drew Bannister for the time being. Assistant coaches are set, scouts are set, trainer is set. So I believe we are all good to go to move into the expansion draft here, as once again, we are not going to actually be participating in it, as the AI is going to make all of our selections. So let's just do this right away. CPU finish draft. Let's see who the computer takes for us. All right, here we go. Let's see our roster. So in goal, you have Philip Gustafsson, the 3.5-star ability goaltender. Not bad. He's got the $4 million contract for the next 2 years. It's a cap hit of 3.75. Then you have Kevin Lankinen, who is on a extension, it looks like, a $4.5 million extension for the next 5 years with a no movement clause. So, and he's a 3-star ability. Might want to consider trading him while we can. Then again, he also has a no trade clause on his current contract. It might be a little difficult to move him, assuming that's what we're doing. And then you have Charlie Lindgren, who is a 3-star ability, and he also has an extension. He has a 3-year deal on a $3 million cap hit. So, yeah, we're spending quite a bit on goaltenders, unfortunately. Then on defense, you have Dmitry Orlov, Cam Fowler, Jake Wallman, Juuso Valimaki, Tyson Berry, Jake Christensen, Alexander Romanov, Nate Schmidt, Nick Perbix, and back to Orlov. And at forward, you have Mikhail Granlund. I mean, he's a 3.5-star ability forward. He's definitely going to be carrying our forward core, it seems, at least as long as we're holding on to him. Then you have Scott Lawton, Michael McCarron, Tomas Tatar, Ross Colton, Tomas Novak, John Hayden, Nicholas Roy, or Waugh, Then you have Warren Fogle, Vladislav Nemestikov, Ryan McLeod, Micah Madio, Tyler Pitlick, Rhett Gardner, Lucas Kandata, Austin Watson, Brett Seeney, Ross Johnston, Carl Grunstrom, Johnny Brodzinski, and back to Granlund. So an interesting roster here. I think we're definitely going to have to trade Lankinen. That contract is not going to be fun, especially he's already 29, so he's going into that contract at 30 years of age with a no movement clause for that kind of contract for a goaltender in this game. No, thank you. So I'll put Lankinen on the trade block, and then I guess we'll keep Lindgren for now. Defensively, is there anybody I really want to get rid of? Christensen's on an extension. He's only 24. It's not that big of a deal. And he's the only defenseman on an extension. Forward-wise, you have Nemestikov on an extension, making $3 million for the next 2 years. That's not too big of a deal. Then you also have Kandata and Watson on extensions. I think off the bat, I'm going to drop Watson. I'm going to drop Kandata probably as well. Yeah, he doesn't look... I mean, then again, none of these guys are going to be great. May as well drop Brodzinski, Grunstrom, Johnston. And then we have a lot of left defensemen compared to right defensemen. We only have 2 right defensemen. I think I'll drop Schmidt. I doubt I'll be able to get much in a trade for him, so I'll just send him down to the AHL. And then I think I'll send down Sini as well. I'll send down Hayden. I mean, you know what? I may as well just shop Lankinen and see what we can get. And remember, it's only picks. No offers. Okay. Yeah, that might be a bit difficult. And then I think I'm going to offer out Fowler. Okay, we can get... we can get a third back from Toronto. Most of these other teams are only offering 6th and 7th, but Toronto wants a third. They'll be able to give up a third for him. So yeah, I think we'll do that right away. And then it seems I'm going to have to just find a team manually for Mr. Lankinen here. And remember, we can only do picks. So let's see, a 5th. All right, so Washington will take him. What about 7th for next year? Nope, it's just a 5th. All right, that's fine. So Lankinen to the Capitals in exchange for a 5th round pick. We would be below the cap floor. Okay, so we're going to have to sign a low ability veteran in free agency. We'll set the minimum age for, 35. Let's see, let's get Kulemin. I'll get 1 year for 10 mil. That's a nice retirement package for him. There you go, Kulemin has signed. So let's circle back to Washington for Lankinen. So Lankinen to the Capitals in exchange for a 5th round pick in the 2025 draft. Offer trade. We'll see what they say. Actually, while I'm thinking of it, I should probably shop Watson. Can get some for him too. Yeah, it's only 6, but you know what? Better than nothing. I'll send him to Dallas. Then I guess Hayden might fetch something as well. He's got the 2.5 star ability. Yeah. I mean, again, only a 6, but whatever. I'll send him to the Rangers. And there it is. The Washington Capitals have accepted our offer of Kevin Lankinen for a 5th round pick. Complete trade. And then I think lastly, I'm going to send down Pitlick or maybe trade him. Okay, we get a 5th for him from Colorado. Yeah, may as well do that. So we are now just barely above the floor. We are at 65.7 million, and that's with Kulemin. And we have 23 players on our roster, so I think we're good to go to head into year number 1 with your Cocytus River Rats. And I think, just given the composition of this team, I would not be surprised if we struggle to stay anywhere above 30th in the league. Definitely going to be one of those years where it's just going to be, tanking, basically. As much as I don't like to tank, this is clearly a team that is not good. This is not going to be a good team. Unless the only way I could see this team being anywhere close to competitive is if Gustafsson stands on his head. That's the only way I see this team being anywhere above 30th in the league, right? So I think with that, there's not much else left to do. So let's just get through the simulation of year number 1 and see what happens. I'm not expecting much, to be honest. Okay, the game wants me to set a captain here, and frankly, I'm not sure that I want to, considering, just the state of this team. This is one of those situations I would prefer to set 3 alternate captains. That would be ideal in this situation, but, that's unfortunately not how it works. So we're going to have to set a captain here. I think for right now, it'll be Ross Colton, and then you'll have Orlov and Barry as the alternates. Okay, something that I just realized. We only have 2 goaltenders right now, so what I'm going to do is assign Galbraith in free agency and just make him another one of those $10 million contracts and Boom, there you go. So what we can do now is keep him in the AHL. He will definitely clear. I can't imagine a team claiming him. So what that does is we have an emergency third stringer when needed, and then we also fill out a lot of our cap to be able to stay above the floor. Okay, what's going on here? Why are we winning games? Why are we 4-1? It's going a little too well for my liking right now. What is going on? Oh, right. And I almost forgot to mention our AHL team is called the Frozen Creek Renegades. Can't believe I forgot that. And here we are at the end of the regular season of year number 1. We finished 32, 42, and 8, good enough for 9th in the Beings division. And in the league, we finished 28th. So not unexpected. Let's get a look at the player stats here. In goal, you have Gustafsson with 46 games played, 21 wins, 2 shutouts, and a .912 save percentage. Pretty impressive on this team. And then Lindgren, in 40 games played, has 11 wins, 1 shutout, and a .909 save percentage. Now look at the skaters. On defense, you have Perbix with 32 points, leads the way. Then you have Valimaki with 28, Orlov with 26, Wallman with 25, Barry with 24, Christensen with 22, and Romanov with 11. Then at forward, you have Granlund with 62 points, then followed up by Novak with 45, Colton with 43, McLeod with 38, Lawton with 38, Nemestikov with 36, Fogel with 32, Amadio with 29, Tatar with 22, McCarron with 21, Roy with 18, Kondana with 13, Gardner with 4, and Kuhlman actually did play a little bit. He had 2 points rather, in 17 games played. So now let's get a look at the team stats. Not that it really matters for us currently, considering that we are definitely not a good team, but we'll see where we're at, I suppose. Goals for per game, we finished with a 2.52, 27th in the league. Goals against per game, we finished 30th in the league with a 3.17. Face-offs, we finished 17th in the league with a 49.7. Power play, we finished 25th in the league with a 15.8. And penalty kill, we actually finished 2nd in the league with an 85.2. So now I think with all that being done, we can advance and see who wins the Stanley Cup in year number 1. And your year number 1 Stanley Cup champions are the Dallas Stars. They went through Vancouver, Detroit, Nashville, and Florida. They beat the reigning Stanley Cup champions. And this is the first time they've won since 1999. And now it's time for the NHL awards. For the Tedlins, the Art Ross, and Maurice Richard, it is none other than Connor McDavid himself. 74 goals this season. My goodness. 64 assists and 138 points. And for the Lady Byng, you have Jack Hughes with 36 goals, 45 assists for 81 points. Bill Masterton goes to Jordan Eberle of Seattle with a 46-point season. The Mark Messier Leadership Award goes to Mario Ferraro of the San Jose Sharks. He had 31 points this season for San Jose. He is not a captain there. So good to know that the Mark Messier Leadership Award still does not go to a captain. Still not guaranteed anyway. Then you have the Jennings Trophy going to Joseph Wall of Minnesota with a .913 save percentage in 64 games played. And now for the Hart Trophy between McKinnon, Matthews, and McDavid, it is Connor McDavid. For the Conn Smythe, it is Miro Heiskanen of Dallas with the 20-point performance in 19 games played. For the Calder between Hudson, Stankoven, and Celebrini, it is Macklin Celebrini of San Jose with a 59-point performance in 80 games played. For the Norris between Bouchard, Makar, and Heiskanen, it is Bouchard with 79 points. For the Selke between Barkov, Kempf, and Faxa, it is Radek Faxa of St. Louis with 33 points. For the Vezina between Hellebuck, Skinner, and Tarasov, it is Stuart Skinner of Edmonton with a .922 save percentage and 7 shutouts in 67 games played. The GM of the year between Barry Trotz, Bill Guerin, and Kyle Davidson, it is Bill Guerin of Minnesota. And for the Jack Adams Award, I'm going to get out of the way for this one. Between Peter DeBoer, Paul Maurice, and John Hines, it is John Hines of Minnesota. And let's see who we have coming up in this year. We have McLeod, Granlund, Orlov, Tatar, Gardner, Cini. All right, so a few names there. Obviously, we're going to want to re-sign as many players as possible, given the fact that we cannot acquire players by any other means besides the draft. So we'll start out with McLeod here. He wants 5.2 for 3 years. And I was able to get him down to 4.88 for 3 years. I mean, just given where we are as a franchise, I think that's a fair offer. I mean, it's not like we have anybody better to be spending that money on. And besides that, he actually had a pretty decent year this year. He had 38 points in 78 games played. As for Granlund, he's 33. He wants 7.5 for 3 years. I'll do 2 years, but I'll give you 8 mil. How's that? Okay, so he still wants that 3 years. I'll go up a little bit more to 8.2. All right, that works. So 8.2 for 2 years for Mikhail Granlund, submit offer. Then you have Orlov, Tatar, and Gardner. Orlov wants 3 years. I'll try to take him down to 2. Currently wants 6.79. I think I'll take him to 7.5. Still wants 3 years. I'll go up a little bit more, 7.8. All right, that looks good. And then you have Tatar, who's 34. He wants 1 year for 2.7. I think I'll give him just that. And Gardner, he wants 3 years for 2.6. And I think we'll give him 2.63 for 3 years. All right, so those 5 have signed. What are we up to for next season? We have 25.8 remaining. And you have Cini, Romanov, Schmidt, Barry, Perbix, Kuhlman, and Galbraith. Yeah, I mean, we may as well just re-sign the rest of these guys. And then Kuhlman, I mean, we don't exactly need this contract anymore, so I think we'll release Kuhlman. And then Galbraith, I mean, he's going to want a lot as well. Yeah, he doesn't even want to renew, so we'll release Kuhlman and Galbraith. And so that should just about do it for the re-sign stage. And considering the fact that we do not have any prospects currently, I don't think there's much else to do except simulate up to the last day of the season. And here's our year one summary. We did not, of course, have any positive categories. We had a losing season and failed to reach the playoffs. However, we did not finish last and we did not have a winning percentage lower than 400. So with all that taken into consideration, our total season score is 7, which of course brings our total career score to 7. And we have 1 available point. I'll put it into negotiating. So yeah, pretty solid year number 1 overall. Obviously, we have a lot of growing to do. We haven't even gone through our first draft yet, for that matter. So we have a lot of building left to do with this team. But it's a decent start. It was a decent start to the franchise mode in what is probably going to be a very long build, considering the fact that we can't make any trades, we can't sign any free agents, anyone with an impact anyway. And of course, we're also going to have to wait for the prospects that we draft to develop, right? So I think this first draft is going to be very important. It's definitely going to be very important to get as much as we can out of this draft. That being said, with year number 1 in the books, I think it is about time that we wrap this one up here. But of course, not before I thank the channel members. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It really means a lot. And I'll see you guys in the next one when we start the year 1 off season with your Cocytus River Rats.